Welcome, spooky friends, to another amazing episode of True Hauntings and Scary Stories.
Well, I have some exciting news for us today. We have not one, but two new patrons. Yay! Big shout out to Bethany and Christina R, because we have many Christinas and Tinas. So Christina R and Bethany, welcome, and you are officially true Hauntings rock stars.
You're our favorite people. It's official. Sorry, all you other guys. Girl, listen. First, I have to tell you guys, I probably already mentioned it, but I'm going to tell you again. There's a GoFundMe that you guys need to check out, and you're gonna freaking die, because my grandmother's house that I've talked about now for almost 2 years on this show, the really haunted house that I practically grew up in, my family has started a GoFundMe to help not only pay it off the last little bit, but also repair it, because it is in very much disrepair, bad disrepair. So they're trying to save it. And I've got the link in the show notes. You guys go check it out, because guess what? They released my nanny's book that she wrote about it, the title, her name. They released the address, basically, of the house. And all this time, I haven't been able to tell you those things because it's private residence, but it's released now. Go to the GoFundMe and check it out. You can see pictures of the house. You can find out where it is in St. Augustine, Florida. And it's all on the up and up. So go do it. And then while you're there, of course, maybe give them some money. Just saying. Because the house is bad.
And if you happen to see something in one of those pictures that we haven't caught yet, point it out to us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've got the picture of the window that shows that full-blown person standing in the window. I think that picture is up there. But go check it out. You guys can finally see my grandmother's house, my nanny's house. So go do that. Other than that, we have a magician with us today, you guys. We have Micah the magician, and he's amazing, and you should definitely check out his stuff. But he's going to tell us about all these spooky theaters that he performs in. So how are you today, Micah?
It is an honor to be here, Cindy and Kat. It's a pleasure to meet you both. And something about our disclaimer: if we find out where you work and then you kill us, we become ghosts, and then do we come back on the podcast, or how does that? Is that called perpetuity, or how does that work?
Right. Listen, I have caught a few EVPs while recording before. So technically you could come back and be on the show again. I can't stop you.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, if you got to die, that's the way to go. At least as a celebrity with 33,000 followers during the Halloween season. That's fantastic. Yeah. But honestly, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for letting me be here today.
Oh, thank you for coming. Why don't you tell everybody about yourself and what you do and all that good stuff?
Thank you. Yes, I am Micah Cover, a.k.a. Micah the Magician, which is also my website, and thank you for helping me plug that. And I live in a town called Chatsworth, which is about 30 minutes away from the haunted Magic Castle in Hollywood. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of your followers and listeners are familiar with this place. It is the epicenter of magic in the world. And in fact, starting tomorrow, they have China Week. So all the magicians are flown in from China, including the president of the Society of American Magicians, a society that was created in part by Harry Houdini himself. And as you know, he was really into this seance world. And it is considered to be one of the most haunted places in the world as well. And I'll be going to see President Chow perform. And as a member and a sometime performer, whenever they let me, I've seen and heard some crazy things. I don't know if it's the same as where you work. Maybe not as haunted, but maybe we need more dead people. I don't know. But there are ghost stories in that place.
Now, I just have to ask, because I know a little bit about the Magic Castle, but have you met Neil Patrick Harris?
Okay. Fun fact. I'm very glad. Yeah. We dropped that name. We'll pick that back up and put it in our pocket where it belongs. Kat, I like the way you work. You should move out to Hollywood. Yes, Neil Patrick Harris was our president. So for, I believe the tenure is like, the term is like 2 years. So for about 2 years, Doogie Howser was my boss. And you would appreciate this. They perform seances, Houdini seances within the walls of the Magic Castle. And one day I attended this seance, had a blast, and as I was leaving, Neil Patrick Harris literally stopped me and said, "What do you think about the seance?" And Neil Patrick Harris literally wanted to know from me what I thought of the seance. And he was literally a hands-on president. He was there almost every night. And I couldn't even tell you who the president is right now, but I do know Neil Patrick Harris, and he was there all the time, and he was great. And next time, Kat, I'll tell him you said hello.
Well, so he does magic all on his own, and he worked that into numerous episodes on How I Met Your Mother. And then there was actually an episode of Tanked where they build the fish tanks, and Neil Patrick Harris hired the guys that do that episode to make a fish tank for the Magic Castle. So.
And it was, Kat, you have done your homework, because, yeah, this fish tank was of Harry Houdini in what he used to call the upside down. They would dunk him into this upside down fish tank in water and then seal it, and then it would be up to him to escape from it. And during Neil Patrick Harris's tenure, we had that, and it was the coolest thing ever, and it broke my heart to see it go. But yeah, you know what you're talking about. And Cindy, you would appreciate this. When Neil Patrick Harris was on an episode of Glee, when he played the rival of the main teacher, he did magic in that episode as well.
Now, Micah, do you do escape routines?
I'm honored. I'm so honored. Kat, thank you for asking. Every year, and happy late Edgar Allan Poe Day to one and all, someone else who's into the supernatural. Speaking...
Yes, I'm related to him.
Are you serious?
Yep. No, true story. I really am. My grandfather's mother's maiden name was Poe.
You are kidding me.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I write such weird, freaky-ass stories. It's in my blood.
That's so fun. You know, whenever I read literary criticism of Edgar Allan Poe, they always use the two words, freaky ass. And I keep thinking, is there an heir apparent to Edgar Allan Poe and his work? And now we know it's you. That's so cool. I had no idea. That's amazing. Congratulations. So anyway, Kat, to answer your question, every year I put on a charity event called the Night of the Raven, where variety artists and magicians come together, and on stage they perform acts produced and designed specifically to honor the work of Edgar Allan Poe. And and at the end, I have an actor named Duffy Hudson who performs the Telltale Heart from memory, from beginning to end, in character as Edgar Allan Poe. So it's like you are attending one of his lectures or performances. And then we follow that with... Kat, I'm finally answering your question, Kat. At the end, the finale is I escape from a straitjacket while reciting The Raven. And so it's called the Night of the Raven, and we do it every year, and we just did it this last November. And thank you for asking. That is my escape routine, and that's kind of my tribute to Harry Houdini as well as Edgar Allan Poe.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really freaking cool. On your website, I happen to see that you do something called haunted house calls.
Yeah.
And I am into it. I'm into it.
Thank you.
So you go to people's houses, and your magic show that you do involves spirits.
Yeah, I set everything up in their living room, and I personalize it, so whatever messages come from the other side come directly to them, including their name and that kind of thing. They also make choices throughout the magic show where they are in control, and it turns out that the spirits have been trying to communicate with them from the beginning. And I don't pretend that I am a full-blown medium I'm guessing that you may have had actual professional mediums who do what I'll call, for lack of a better term, the real thing, where they really do sit down and they conduct a seance and they really do attempt to contact the other side. Now, I am a professional entertainer, so this is entertainment. But even during haunted house calls, there have been things that happened that took me by surprise, and you never know what will happen. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, but thank you for asking.
So tell us, what is the most spooky thing that you've had happen at a theater while you were there? Lay it on us. We want the ghost stories, man.
The spookiest of the spooky. Okay, so yeah, as you know, theaters in general are supposed to be very haunted. We have a lot in the Hollywood area, like the Pantages Theater. My story, Haunted House Calls, actually starts there. And theaters, for various reasons, not unlike hotels, are supposed to be very haunted. And the Magic Castle, where they let me perform whenever they let me, has several theaters inside, and lots of ghost stories, and this is mine. So I was performing The Night of the Raven in the Magic Castle, and there was a and I don't know how they light theater in like Ohio or Alabama, but what they do in LA is that they drown you in darkness with one like light tree drilling into your corneas, hanging from the ceiling. So yeah, okay. Okay, yes, so Kat knows what I'm talking about. So when you're on stage, if you look down to the floor and slowly bring your eyes up, it's something like this. Darkness, 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 darkness. I'm blind! Darkness, darkness, darkness. And so either way, you can't see. Maybe you'll see some, light trails, and that's about it. That's all you get. You can't see a thing. So I'm on stage in the Magic Castle, and I am hosting The Night of the Raven, and I'm talking to the audience, but I can't see a thing. Now, meanwhile, and I found this out after the fact, there was another magician named Jules Lanier, and if any of your followers look him up, you'll find out pretty quickly who I'm talking about. He was a celebrity in the magic world, and he was known for two things. One, his copious contribution to the art. He's all over the Magic Castle library, and I've studied some of his stuff, and the guy was pretty brilliant. The second thing he was known for was that he would drive up to the Magic Castle and stand outside and smoke outside the Magic Castle and bitch about the magicians inside that he refused to come in and support. So he would just stand in front of he would just stand in front of this wall and go, oh, Matt, why am I even here? Oh, they're probably doing my tricks. They're probably ruining my tricks. I don't even know why I'm here. And then he would get back into his car, drive home, and then repeat the process the following night. And he would stand in the same spot night after night, and it became such a ritual that eventually a staff member drilled a plaque on the wall behind him, and it said Jules Lanier Smoking Lounge. And apparently he never knew it was there because he was too busy standing and bitching underneath this plaque dedicated to him. So anyway, yeah. So great guy, yes, definitely, yeah, typical performer. So I'm on stage doing The Night of the Raven while a friend of mine, apparently, and again I found this out after the fact, approaches Jules Lanier. Her name is Sarah, and she says, Mr. Lanier, there's a show inside. You should check it out. It's called The Night of the Raven. And apparently, again, I'm on stage. I don't know if this is happening, but apparently he said something I can't do. Night of the Raven? Isn't that a bird? Why would I see a show about a bird? I should talk to my parakeet at home. Go away. And she says, no. It's a different kind of show. I think you'd like it. What do you mean I'd like it? What do you know about that? Get away from me. You don't know my life. And so they keep bickering and bickering until finally Sarah convinces this man to come inside the Magic Castle. And I remember while I'm standing on stage, and again, Kat will back me up on this, can't see a frickin' thing, but I hear two voices. And one voice goes, excuse me, I just want to have a seat, excuse me. And a second voice, get out of my way, I'm just trying to sit down, I don't even know why I'm here. And I now know who they were. They were Sarah and Jules Lanier. And I remember seeing some inky shadows in the background, shuffling around trying to find seats, but I now know who they were. Jules Lanier died just a few days later. And when I tell this story, people always say, wow, The Night of the Raven killed Jules Lanier. And I'm like, no, screw you. It was his time. And I get to be that dick who gets to say things like, no, it was his time. It was the cigarettes. He was supposed to die. I get to be that jerk now because I don't want that kind of guilt. Anyway, the point is, I believe that not only was I only one of the few times he ever came into the Magic Castle, I'm pretty sure I was the last thing he saw in the Magic Castle. So ever since then, and again, everybody's got a ghost story. This is mine. But I've gone to 2 different staff members, and they told me this independently. Since then, they have seen Jules Lanier wandering through the halls late at night after they shut everything down. 2 independent people have seen him wandering through the halls, and he's on his way to the theater where I was performing The Night of the Raven. Now, yeah, right. So since then, I took a ghost tour within the Magic Castle, and both of you would have loved it. And this guy's tour, this tour guide, his specialty was the ghost stories of the Magic Castle. And he told me that there was a second smoking area back in the day that you would have to pass my theater in order to access. So it's entirely possible the ghost of Jules Lanier is passing by my theater saying, "Screw you, Magic Boy, I need another cigarette," and he's going to smoke. But I like my version of the story. He's coming to see my show. And that's my ghost story, yeah. And then I have one last, so that's the ghost story that happened to me. But my favorite ghost story of all time is a little shorter. Do we have time? Because I know okay, all right. So, you were kind enough to ask about my escape routine, and I brought up Harry Houdini and Neil Patrick Harris. So there is Houdini seance room in the Magic Castle, where some of your followers may know this. Harry Houdini makes a pact with his wife, Bess. And he says to his wife, "Look, if there's any truth to any of this crap, we're going to agree on a couple of code words right now. And the surviving spouse will conduct a seance in honor of the dead spouse to see if the dead spouse can reach us from beyond for the next 10 anniversaries of the dead spouse's death." So not only does Bess have to, so Houdini dies, in my opinion, under crazy mysterious circumstances on Halloween. Isn't that cool? I mean, it's not cool for him, but it's a cool story, especially for you guys. So not only does Bess, his widow, have to conduct a seance for the next 10 years of her life, she also has to do it on Halloween. And they recreate it for you. Yeah, and they recreated for you in that Houdini seance room because there was a young lawyer turned magician, a guy named William Larson, in attendance of that seance. He had a son named Milt Larson who created the Magic Castle. They literally know what that final seance was like, which was conducted in Hollywood, and they reproduce it for you in that room. And it's great. So when the Houdini seance room first started, there was one medium. Today, you could get more than one medium. The plural, you guys will have to correct me on the media. Thank you. I think that's the plural of medium. I don't know, you're the school teacher. Anyway, the point is, but back then there was only one medium, and he would do it every night. And it was a huge hit. And people would get up and they would applaud because they knew that it was more like an entertainment event, kind of like my haunted house calls or what I do. So they would clap and they would leave, and every night was great. Every night was a hit. But one night was different. So the seance concludes. Everybody gets up. They clap. They all leave except for a couple. It was like a husband and wife. And they stick around. And they say to this medium, "Oh, we loved it. It was great. We had so much fun." And the medium said, I'm really glad you had a good time." And the couple said, "Yeah, it was all great, but our favorite moment was the girl." Yeah, Kat knows where this is going. Kat knows where this is going. Yeah, thank you, Kat. And the medium just stares at them, thinking the same thing Kat's thinking, and he says, "Yeah." And they said, "Yeah, it was all great. We loved it all. But when that girl appeared behind you and she was reaching out towards you."
No.
Don't tell us how you did it. Right.
Oh
And
my God.
right. I know. Just telling, I wasn't even there, and just telling the story freaks me out. And the medium says to them, "Thank you for coming." And the couple leaves. Right?
She didn't even
Yeah.
correct them.
Right. Okay.
You might be like, did she
Yeah, exactly. So here's the punchline. As you know, there is no girl, and his daughter died just a few days prior to this seance. But the consummate professional, one, he didn't tell anybody, and two, he still showed up for work. So he's conducting this seance, and this husband and wife independently not only see this girl, they independently describe her down to what she was wearing. when she passed. And right, and regardless of what you believe, that story is crazy. A literary critic might call it freaky ass. Yes, yeah. So the point is, his career was never the same. He instantly took a sabbatical, and I've been told he did come back once in a while for a cameo, but it was never the same for him. And not only is that my favorite ghost story, it also happened in the Magic Castle, the place where I get to perform once in a while. And I hope you guys come out and see it. I hope you get to take a field trip. One of your GoFundMe donors, sponsors, is just going to make it rain, and you guys can come out to Hollywood and check it out, because you really should. You would love it.
Something that we always ask all of our guests, which is, A, do you believe in ghosts? And then if the answer is yes, have you always believed in ghosts, or is there something that kind of confirmed it for you?
One, I'm not sure if I believe in ghosts, but that's a very good question, and I do keep an open mind, because I had a cat two cats pass away within the quarantine, and it was heartbreaking. And they both visited me that night. And of course, any psychiatrist can simply say, well, you simply dreamed it. And there's no way I can disprove that. But it reminded me, Kat, and I'd very much like to get you guys' opinion on this. I think if ghosts are real, they could come from any kind of death. So, for instance, the death of a friendship or a relationship. So, for instance, this girl I was deeply in love with dumped me, and a friend of mine said, she's going to visit you tonight. And sure enough, she did. I dreamed about, she was sitting on the edge of my bed, and I was reaching out to her, and I was just losing it emotionally. And part of me knows that was a dream, but one, she predicted it, and two, my cats who did pass away, they visited me in the same way. Do you know what I mean? So I'd very much like to know your opinion about this. What exactly is the meaning of death? Can ghosts come back from different situations? Does this make sense?
I'm a strange one, because I am an atheist who believes in the paranormal. And the reason for that is that I've just had way, way, way too many experiences throughout my life, consistently, to say that they don't exist, because I just know better. And the only way I can explain it, my theory anyway, is that everyone has energy in them. Like, that's scientific. That's what keeps your heart beating and your brain functioning and all that. So I figure when your body dies, that energy has to go on. Like, you can't destroy energy. It is what it is. So I just figure maybe it has conscious thought, and maybe it continues on after our bodies are gone, and that's how ghosts happen. And maybe it can either stay where it is and, be a haunting or whatever, or maybe it disperses into the universe and just goes its own way. I don't know. I've never been dead before, but that's my theory.
That's excellent. And Kat, you were talking about metaphorical death.
Yeah, and I mean, to kind of bounce off what Cindy said too, with energies, when you have such an intense relationship, there's a lot of energy there too. And so that energy could also be dispersed into the world, because Lord knows I've dreamed about my ex more times than my husband would like to know about.
I gotta ask, what's your ex doing? What is your ex doing? What's happening?
We're not that kind of podcast.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
You are too much. So what you're telling me is your husband needs to watch this episode. Is that what you're saying? I feel like that's what you're saying.
I mean, if he has time.
Alrighty then. Well, on that note, you are crazy. Well, thank you, Micah, for coming on the show with us crazy people.
It was a genuine pleasure. Oh, and last thing, if this is okay, my email address is Micah the Magician at yahoo.com. Micah the Magician at yahoo.com.
That was really nice.
Well, I hope it helps. Out of your 33,000 followers, if one of them would like a free magic show, that would be great. Maybe even Kat's husband. Like if he's like, hey, do you have any voodoo things about Kat's exes? Do you have any voodoo? Like I'll work with you. I'll personalize it. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, I did a blog post about how to make a voodoo doll, and here's the one I made for that. So I'm just saying, if you guys, if you Steve, if you need one of these.
Oh, his name is Steve. Okay, so now we know what name to write in the voodoo doll. Okay. Oh, well, it should be the X. Okay, we shouldn't say the X's name.
Yeah.
It would be X.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't curse me, you guys.
Right.
Micah, remind everyone where they can find you again besides your email.
Sure, it's the same. Micah the Magician, all one word.com is my website. That's also my Instagram handle, Micah the Magician, all one word. And it would be a pleasure to meet your followers because you guys have just been so wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. We're going to put those
My pleasure.
in the show notes. So you guys, if you want to check them out, go on to the show notes and click the link. And you can get hooked up with an amazing magician who knows all the magical things. So go do it.
And for those of you that are watching us on YouTube and get to see all of our goofy faces, the links and everything will be in their description box. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if you haven't already, tie that bell notification around your big toe so we can make sure you're a dead ringer.
I love it. I freaking love it. That's awesome. And
That's great.
Bethany and Christina, one more hello to our new patrons. Howdy. And until next time, we'll spook you later.